James Kaufman, World News Report today, March 4th, 2025. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just what I've been waiting for. UN chief in panic mode as Trump cuts all U.S. funding to the United Nations. Remember, the United Nations is the organization that funneled all of the refugees from the Middle East, Africa, and other countries up through Panama into the United States. Let's listen to what the UN chief has to say during his panic speech.
I want to start by expressing my deep concern about information received in the last 48 hours by UN agencies, as well as many humanitarian and development NGOs, regarding severe cuts in funding by the United States. These cuts impact a wide range of critical programs, from life-saving humanitarian aid to support to vulnerable communities recovering from war or natural disasters, from development to fight against terrorism and illicit drug trafficking. The consequences will be especially devastating for vulnerable people around the world. In Afghanistan, more than 9 million people will miss out on health and protection services, with hundreds of mobile health teams and other services suspended. In Northeast Syria, where 2.5 million people need assistance, the absence of US funding means programs are leaving large populations even more vulnerable. In Ukraine, cash-based programming, a key feature of the humanitarian response, reaching 1 million people in 2024, has been suspended in key regions. In South Sudan, funding has run out for programs to support people who have fled the conflict in neighboring Sudan, leaving border areas dangerously overcrowded.
All I hear is the U.S. has been supporting the world. You need to make your own way.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime will be forced to stop many of its counter-narcotics programs, including the one fighting the fentanyl crisis, and dramatically reduce activities against human trafficking. And funding for many programs combating HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and cholera have stopped. We have been extremely grateful for the leading role the United States has provided over the decades. For example, thanks to the generosity of donors led by the United States, the UN assists and protects more than 100 million people every year through our humanitarian programming. From Gaza to Sudan, Afghanistan, Syria, Ukraine, and beyond.
The biggest slush fund around the globe. Bye, Felicia.
American funding directly supports people living through wars, famines, and disasters, providing essential health care, shelter, water, food, and education, and the list goes on. The message is clear. The generosity and compassion of the American people have not only saved lives, built peace, and improved the state of the world.
We don't need a middleman. If we choose to give our money to one of these countries, we'll do so. Why don't you go find a job?
They have contributed to the stability and prosperity that Americans depend on. United Nations staff members around the world are deeply proud of what we have accomplished together as partners. Now, going through with these cuts will make the world less healthy, less safe, and less prosperous.
Maybe your world, but not ours. Again, you need to go find a job, because if we need to get money to any of the countries we choose to do so, well, I think we can handle it.
The reduction of America's humanitarian role and influence will run counter to American interests globally. I can only hope that these decisions can be reversed based on more careful reviews, and the same applies to other countries that have recently announced reductions in humanitarian and development aid. In the meantime, every United Nations agency stands ready to provide the necessary information and justification for its projects, and we look forward to working with the United States in this regard. All humanitarian coordinators in the field are urgently updating strategies on how to protect as much life-saving work as possible, and the Interagency Standing Committee, which brings together UN humanitarian agencies and our partners, has agreed on an ambitious plan for efficiency and prioritization. Our absolute priority remains clear. We will do everything we can to provide life-saving aid to those in urgent need. And we will continue our efforts to diversify the pool of generous donors who support our work. We remain committed to making the global humanitarian effort as efficient, accountable, and innovative as possible while continuing to save lives.
Translation: the UN's been using U.S. tax dollars to send illegal immigrants from the Middle East, Africa, and all around the globe, up through Panama, up through Central America, into the United States to try to destabilize the United States and our government with our own money. And that game is now over. I suggest you cut the check, or even better, go find something to do. We don't need a middleman anymore. If we decide to invest in a country or a program, well, we're big boys. We can handle it all by ourselves without your slush fund getting in the way. And with that said, I've got only one more thing to say. Bye, Felicia.